You're welcome back from that quick timeout. It's time for us to take a look at the stories that made it to the front page of our newspapers. If you have been sticking around, thank you very much for staying with us. I'm pretty sure you've enjoyed the conversation and the show so far. Unfortunately, this is the last lap of the show, and let's get right into it. Now, starting off with our own Daily Trust newspaper, up bright bold there in front, you would see over 200,000 displaced. Children missing in Maiduguri due to the flooding. Corpses float as cemetery washed away. Crocodiles, snake escape into communities. Shatima consoles victims as Zulum reopens IDP camps. Houses, Sheu's palace, hospitals submerged. Now, right down there, you have 125,000 terrorists, family members surrendered to the defense headquarters. You can see the pictures there showing people wading through a flooded area in Maiduguri. Vice President Kashim Shettima, Borno State Governor, at the Palace of Shehu of Borno, also there, and an overview of Maiduguri yesterday, looking really flooded. Now, on the top left, Ajero's arrest, violation of trade union freedom, UK's TUC. Remember that he was in his way to UK for the Trade Union Congress meeting there when he was being arrested. Nigeria's crude oil production rose to 1.352 million in August, says OPEC. Israel kills 248 Palestinians in safe zones as rights groups condemns Sage is seen at the top left. Now coming to the bottom, top right rather, coming to the bottom left, retired judge charged with assaulting neighbor's wife. Youth block road over killing of charcoal dealers in Bauchi. Now remember one time where security agencies said charcoal dealers were giving information to bandits, but this is saying youth block road in protest over charcoal dealers killing in Bauchi. 5 bandits killed, corpses dumped in FCT community. Now these and more you would find in the Daily Trust newspaper for today. Now let's go straight to The Nation. Right there on the top, on The Nation's newspaper, federal government dollar bond attracts $900 million subscription. And on the top, Abure Yusufu Igodalo off-ran Obi's campaign fund. Canada student enrollment drops by 45%. That would see the new immigration policy unfavorable. Okay. On the top there, 3.5 billion LNG. Shell accuses Venture Global of alleged wrongful earnings as NLNG faces same offense. We could also see the Ajero, no human rights abuse in Nigeria, says presidency. We are winning battle against bandits and oil thieves, says service chief, as they have put it down that they're definitely going to capture Bello Turji. And then on Edo 2024, PDP APC clash over purported plan to make state ungovernable. These are the stories on the front page of The Nation newspaper. All right, now moving over to the Punch newspaper. And right there on the front page, FGP opens federal government Borno Dam collapse. Yes, federal government opens IDP camps as flood submerges city. 70% of Maiduguri. Inmates escapes. Thousands displaced. Tinubu NAS government pledge aid as Nima begins evacuation. Now on the top left, why NNPC may not lift Dangote petrol on Sunday. That is coming from Kiari. And fuel importers fear domestic production. And then we also see Southwest governor to spend 266 billion naira on airport project. And Edo governorship poll, INEC ready for free and fair poll. Yakubu declares as Obi canvasses votes for Akpata in Benin. Still there on the bottom left, Lagos Red Line train transports 150,000 passengers daily. For the police, 10,000 new recruits for deployment in February 2025. That's from the Nigerian police. And then 70,000 wage. NYC awaits federal government directive on new corpus pay. Okay. Imagine the corps member earning 70,000 naira. Okay. Well, in Nigeria today, I'm guessing that's something. Now, on the Vanguard newspaper, just right top there, it says, in deepening its capital market, Nigeria raises over $900 million 5-year inaugural domestic federal government US dollar bond. And the federal government says to Ajero, nobody is above the law. There in the pictorial, agony has flood wreaks havoc in Maiduguri. That seems to be the major headline on on most of the papers. And then we see bandit leader Buried Soldier and others will soon be captured, says the chief of defense staff. And boldly, Edo will be okay, all of that here on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. All right, now moving over to the Guardian. FG fears of fatality as Bornu Allow Dam collapses, displaces 500,000. You can see infograph there that says key metrics of the 2024 flood incidents, pre-dam crisis, 172 affected, 329. Basically, the pictorial is giving details. And then Army denies fresh invasion of Okwama, says it's military routine operation. I know we saw that story yesterday, but the Army is saying that no, it is just a military routine operation here in the front page of Guardian. Petrol pump price hike, a failure of leadership. That's an editorial. Nigerians are disappointed. Are Onakakanfo tells Tinubu. Federal government rolls out free CNG kits with 230 naira per liter for gas. Okay. Obi OT right INEC over LP caretaker committee, and Abuja residents groan over restricted access to 40,000 naira rice. This and more on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. So let's move on now to Tribune. And on the front page there of Tribune newspaper, factors will shape Edo governorship election. Obaseki Oshomole war. Deputy governors are vote banks for PDP and APC. Edo South Central are battlegrounds. Elections win-win for Edo Central. Financial strength, oratory prowess, personality candidates to play major roles. And we still have on the flooding, thousands displaced as flood wreaks havoc in Maiduguri. Schools and businesses shut down, and all these sad things that are happening there. Oil prices dropped below $70 per barrel, exerting downward pressure on the naira. Blame OB OT for crisis in LP, Deputy National Chairman says there. These are the few we have on the cover page of the Tribune newspaper. All right, now finally on Guardian, for Guardian, looks like we've already looked at Guardian already, which are the stories we have there. We've already spoken on the Guardian newspaper already, talking about the fears and fatalities of Bornu Dam as it collapses, displacing over 500,000 of people above all. And then you find the army denying fresh invasion of Okwama. All right, now to discuss and review some of the headlines on the pages of today's newspaper, we have Ben Shemang, former director, News Voice of Nigeria, as is joining us to review the front pages of the newspaper via Zoom. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Ben.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now kicking off straight, let's look at the story that has been on the lips of most Nigerians. Starting off with the front page of Daily Trust, over 200,000 displaced children missing in Maiduguri. The story is quite sad. Corpses are floating as corpses have been exhumed from cemeteries. Crocodiles and snakes and animals have escaped into communities. Houses are submerged, hospitals are submerged. People can't reach out to their loved ones. People are in IDPs. What is your take on the flooding situation in Maiduguri and it has been happening, in the country over the years?
Yes, honestly, it's a thing of concern, bearing in mind that even prisons have been overflooded, and you have inmates who have escaped, probably some of them being terrorists. They all have escaped. Then we also have a zoo being also affected. You can imagine the dangerous animals set free by forces of nature. And talking of forces of nature, it also tells us that we have to have this thing called volunteerism. Volunteerism is virtually new to us. When there are emergencies of this nature, people are supposed to troop in to lay some helping hands, Can you carry a baby on your shoulder and take that baby out of danger? You know, these are things we ought to be practicing. And when you have an emergency of this nature, what is supposed to be the response of government? We are not yet at that point talking of relief material. Only the living can take relief materials. We have to take a talk of saving them from flood, from being carried away. And so there has to be some emergencies. Where are the helicopters, for example? Do we actually also have some speedboats that can do some jobs, go carry some people and take them to some highlands or high places? So a whole lot of things. And some people would rather enjoy staying in some safe areas, in some story buildings, and start filming, trying to break the news. Yes, it's good to break the news, but first of all, can you save the life of the person who is dying before you play the hero of citizen journalism? It's a whole thing that everybody will have to be on board. It is good to pray, yes, but prayer without work, as I'm told, do not really work. So you have to combine the two. When you pray that God takes care of you, you also look at what really human beings are doing. Even though this is a dam that has given up its bounds, but at the point when we had some warnings from NEMET that there will be heavy rain, what did people do? And sometimes even when government will say, please move to higher lands. Now, when you say move to higher lands, it's not as if there's any accommodation over there. And when it comes, God forbid it comes in the night, you see the consequences. You don't even know your direction. The gutter that you used to know before is no longer visible to you. So people are just victims here and there.
Yeah, the saying goes, water would always find its way in the long run. But now, away from the flooding, we're seeing a story from NNPC saying why NNPC may not leave Dangote Petrol on Sunday. What's your thought on the back and forth between the NNPC? I wouldn't say the back and forth. I'll say the lack of transparency and half-truths between the NNPC and Dangote Refinery and Dangote Fuel, especially owing to the fact that Nigerians are expecting that now that we have a functioning refinery and we have our in-house NNPC to send it around Nigeria, we're going to see a reduction in cost of fuel and probably, make things will be better. What's your take on all of this that is playing out between the NNPC and Dangote?
It's so disappointing that Nigerians are facing this kind of a thing. When you come into OPEC, we struggle to be the Secretary General of this global agency or organization. When it comes to Africa, we are virtually #1 in terms of crude oil availability. But here we are, struggling to survive. One would have thought that with the coming on board of Dangote Refinery, when it was coming up, the days of Buhari, they said, look, the time will soon come that queues will disappear. It's going to be a thing of the past. Now we have Tinubu on. The refinery has been there. Even Tinubu, Buhari commissioned it. Tinubu has also done some. And here we are. Give this man crude oil. And there is also, or there are the modular refineries, smaller ones, that are not really export-oriented. They will sell it here at home. You're hearing from NNPC saying that they don't have enough crude to sell to those they have international obligations with. So are we saying that charity, as is always saying, charity must start abroad? No, I think that we should always start from home. A good home is where you feed your people, they sleep well, there's better health. But a situation where we say we have to sell crude oil to the international community and get foreign exchange for this country. What use is the foreign currency, foreign reserve, when it is not going down to the people? Where they ought to contribute effectively to the GDP of this country. So I think that this there are quite a lot of things Nigerians are just bearing, and the government should not take the silence or the sleeplessness of Nigerians for granted. You can see that there are calls that on October 1 there has to be a kind of a protest again, and it's going to be a win-win, according to many of them. Shore is their leader of revolution now, and many other people who are saying that there has to be another protest, and at the end, they don't know when. But they know when it will start, they don't know when it will end. So these are warning signals that the government should do something. Let alone some other people should be retired or fired or tried for this kind of, let me call it economic sabotage. They're inflicting pains on Nigerians.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for your thoughts on that. You know, like you said, economic sabotage has inflicting and affecting the lives of Nigerians. You know, unfortunately, we've come to the end of this. I wish we could take a lot more stories, but at least we've taken the few stories that affect Nigerians, and we hope that our governments have heard the cries of the people and also heard our opinions here today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Newspaper Review this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, having said that, unfortunately, we've come to the end of Daybreak this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for giving us access to your living rooms this morning. And I hope we've been able to educate you and at the same time keep you occupied with our conversations this morning. Well, having said that, thank you for joining us. Once again, my name is Lilian Ogazi. Please, as a Nigerian, do the right thing and God bless Nigeria. Do have a great day ahead.